World Series Game 1 tonight. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock with this guy, Alex Rodriguez, who's joining us now. Alex, thank you for making some time for us. I want to jump right in and talk about my guy, Corbin Carroll. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. Had a great regular season, stole a bunch of bases, had a slow start to the NLCS, then all of a sudden came alive in Game 7. I think he's a star. Do you think there's a chance he can become a superstar in the World Series?
Well, listen, this is the month in October where you can create your legend, right? And so far, so good for him. I know he's from the Pacific Northwest, where I started my career. But these are the kind of players that really shine in October because it's so easy to overlook players like that. And for the Rangers, the trap is so easy to overlook a team like the Diamondbacks, which is dangerous.
Alex, if there's anyone that wished there was no delay between the ALCS and the World Series, it'd be Adolis Garcia. He had one of the greatest championship series ever. He's two-time All-Star, but the world really got to know him, I think, over the last couple weeks, and the numbers are unbelievable. Do you think he can maybe not stay this hot, but can continue on the momentum that he built over these last 10 days?
I think so. And look, it's interesting when you think about Garcia. 3 of the last 4 ALCS MVPs have been Cuban, right? You have Rosarena, Alvarez, and Garcia. And Garcia, ironically enough, is the godfather to Rosarena's daughter. So they're very close. And it's been a Cuban showcase. But look, the series was kind of sleepwalking a little bit. And then in Game 5, you have he gets hit, the huge fight, and all of a sudden things lit up. And the last 3 games were just as good as they get, and he's as hot as I've seen anyone at this time of the year.
Alex, Texas, they've been 1-3 at Globe Life Field this postseason. Didn't win a game there all ALCS, and now, of course, they're at home tonight. How do you explain them struggling so much at home, and do you think they turn it around tonight?
I do. I think they turn it around tonight. I think you have to almost take that series, Chris, between the Rangers and the Astros as an anomaly. In many ways, is a home game for the Astros as well as the home state. They can drive there. They got the weather, very similar ballparks, and the Astros can actually see the ball much better in other parks besides Minute Maid Park at home, and that's why they struggle so much offensively. But I think they'll get their mojo back at home today. And don't forget, when the Rangers go to play the Diamondbacks, it's a little bit of a hybrid home game, too, because their spring training is in Arizona, Sunrise, Arizona. And if guys need to get extra work in the morning or rehab or anything, they have their home field advantage there on spring training. So it should be a very interesting thing. I think the one difference is home field will matter more in this series than the last one.
Alex, I'm going to play you a piece of sound. It's your own sound. Eovaldi's on the mound. He's 4-0. And he's actually called on some advice that you gave him years ago. I'm going to play the sound, and then can you expand on it a little bit? Take a listen. Can you explain that to me a little more?
Yeah, sure. One of the great pitchers that gave me a lot of trouble was Curt Schilling. And the reason why was because he was a north and south guy. He threw the fastball 98 up top like that, and then he threw the split, and it would be very difficult. And I thought Eovaldi had that same ability because he had 98 plus, and he also had a really good split. And instead of throwing east and west, which makes it a lot easier for a hitter, when you go north and south, that's exactly what he's been able to master, and he's quickly becoming one of the greats of October. So one fact about Eovaldi, he's from Alvin, Texas, just like his hometown hero, Nolan Ryan. And in my 25 years of professional baseball, he's the best arm and the best work ethic that I've ever been around, and just a great guy.
Wow. Hold on. Well, I've got a question about the Rangers in general, but can we stay on Eovaldi just for a moment? When you say he's the best arm in your whole baseball career, what for someone that doesn't totally understand what goes into that other than he can throw the ball really hard, what does that mean, and why are you saying that about him?
Yeah, I mean, just pure arm strength. I mean, he is a lot like Nolan Ryan. Again, he came up studying him, his work ethic. He's got great, strong legs, very dynamic. But he's the kind of guy, Nick, that when he throws the ball, he can take a ball from home plate and throw it right over the center field wall with ease.
Cool.
And, 1 out of 10 pitchers can probably do that. So it's the ease, the way he throws. It's almost like, think about Dan Marino. He had that quick release and the ball just gets there. John Elway's another one. This guy throws an easy fastball, and the last 2 feet, they have extra hairs. Like they pick up,
Wow.
and they get a fifth gear. He's phenomenal.
All right, well, that's unbelievable. That's great insight. So, obviously, you spent 3 years of your career with the Rangers, won an MVP there, hit a little over 150 home runs in those 3 years. You know the fans, you know the city, the Metroplex. What would they've come close, but what would a championship, in your opinion, mean to this organization?
Well, it'd be very disruptive to this market. I mean, this market is all football all the time, but for the last 2 weeks, it's been all baseball, and here we have another week or so to talk baseball. We sit right in the shadows of AT&T, one of the greatest, stadium that Jerry Jones built, and they have their own new building. So for them, think about it. In 2011, twice, they were just one strike away from bringing their first title to Arlington, and now they get a second crack at it. And I think if they're able to finish this, because of the shortfall of the Nelson Cruz and one strike away, it'll make it that much sweeter.
Okay.
And I think it will put some extra pressure on the Cowboys as well.
Oh.
They don't need any more pressure. We put enough on them up here.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't know anything about football. I shouldn't talk football.
No, look, the Diamondbacks, 3 straight losing seasons coming into this year. Now, of course, on the verge of maybe winning a World Series. How did they go from being a 50-win team to where they're at now?
Yeah, I think is coaching, is momentum, is energy. But, Chris, if you can remember the 1985 Cardinals, and Nick, you're Kansas City Royals, and 85, it's a different style of play, right? And because, sabermetrics and analytics and big data is suggesting that strikeouts don't matter and stolen base don't matter and all these other nuances that I don't agree with, they don't do it offensively, but defensively, they're not equipped to guard against stolen bases and bunting and small ball. So, I mean, you look at the Phillies with all their powerhouse. One of the reasons they didn't advance to the World Series is because the great Trey Turner couldn't get the runner over to third for Bryce Harper coming up, who then hit a fly ball, and that would have been the tie and run. So I understand that in the big season it doesn't matter, but if you don't prep to win a championship, when those little time comes, you're going to be out of balance, and the Diamondbacks are going to put an extraordinary amount of pressure on this Ranger defense, and they have to keep runners on, they have to cover the bunt, and they have to be able to field because they're going to put the ball in play.
Okay, that was just absolutely wonderful, Alex. Thank you so much for making some time for us. Really appreciate it. I'll give my prediction. Yeah. Diamondbacks in 6.
Oh,
Alex's
wow.
predictions coming up. We're not going to ask him. Tune in at 7 o'clock pregame. Have a great World Series, Alex. Coverage starts 7 o'clock on Fox. We'll be right back.
That was great.
That was excellent.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.